walk through the garden, you better watch your back.
I beg your pardon.
Beg your pardon. Walk in the narrow track.
You walk with Jesus.
If you walk with Jesus,
He's gonna save your soul.
you save your soul.
You gotta keep the devil.
The devil
Keep the devil, Jordan.
in the hole.
Way down in the hole. Bump.
Hello and welcome to The Only Game in Town, episode 9, entitled You Come at the King, You Best Not Miss. Now we will talk about sports because there is a lot going on, Donald Sterling, NBA playoffs, all that jazz, but I realized I didn't want this podcast just to be about sports, I wanted it to be mostly sports. And it got a little draggy last time, so we're going to talk about something else that we love.
Did we get a little draggy?
We did a little bit. So we're going to talk about something all three of us love dearly, and that's The Wire.
Omar coming!
Omar coming! I'm currently rewatching in the first season. Jordan, I heard you rewatched recently.
I am currently in the 5th season again.
Yeah, I've been rewatching too. I just finished the first. I've been going slow because I've been doing other things as well. But I started rewatching a couple weeks ago. It's just a treat.
I feel like the 5th season would have been the best overall season if they didn't do anything with the newspapers.
They had to do something.
There's not one person on the newspaper staff that I like. Not one.
No.
Including
I kinda
Great
like-
storyline.
especially Gale from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I was about to say I like that. I like Gale because he's such a dick.
But honestly, I mean, even the second season storyline of the Sabakas is more interesting than the newspaper. The newspaper storyline just blows.
Well, I think it makes it more interesting only because they still pepper in a shitload of the Barksdale stuff in the second season.
Well, no, I mean, they could have continued all their other storylines from the first 4 seasons, and it would have been the best season they had.
There's no doubt in my mind that Avon Barksdale is the best character on the show. Even better than Omar.
Avon or Stringer?
String is so good. And I'm sure everyone will argue that Omar is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's the Rock. He's the people's champ.
He is. You're not going to break that one.
It was so fun. I watched what was it, like episode 11 or 12 when they killed Wallace in the first season. I was like right before I went to work. I was in the worst mood when I was at work that afternoon.
It's
It
so
was
hard
such
to
a bad
watch.
idea.
Between
When Wallace,
that,
but what
oh,
what do you consider sadder, when Bodie dies or when Wallace dies?
I think Wallace.
Wallace for sure. He was an innocent. Bodie, you knew he was catching up to Bodie.
Yeah,
at
but
some point.
Bodie's a soldier, son.
He went down like a G though, and like Wallace was like a scene before. You see him. He's playing with the kids. He's messing with them, bringing them Chinese food, and then blast them in the kids' room.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible.
I'm a big Bodie fan.
The whole thing. I'm a huge Bodie Wallace fan. But the thing that I realized most recently when watching through is when they're about to kill him, like Bodie is almost not about to do it until Pooh's like, if you're gonna do it, go ahead and fucking do it, and he shot him.
Oh.
You know, Poot's an underrated character too.
I'm a big fan of Pooh. I love when they brought him back right at the end when he's working at Foot Locker. That was great.
Oh,
Dude, turn
that's such a hard scene to watch.
Yeah.
It's just a little funny now because when you look back at some of those characters and you see like shows they're in now, like Omar is now Nookie Thompson on Boardwalk Empire, basically playing the same character but now in the 1920s.
Yeah, but like with the way that he did it with Omar, why would you not typecast him into another gangster genre? Like you got.
Oh, and Jordan, you were totally right how you pick up on so many more things.
So many more things.
Oh, it's great.
And one of the ones that I was dying laughing at, I think it was Jay and Bunk were talking, and I never noticed it because I was paying attention to the monologue. Jay steals money out of the coffee fund to buy himself chips.
Oh yeah, that part's great. And also one of the most underrated scenes in the first in the whole series is when Bunk and McNulty go and investigate that like cold murder of the woman who got shot through the window, and all they say is "fuck" and "motherfucker" the entire time. It's outstanding. It is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I was laughing the whole time because I knew it was coming.
See,
I
like,
still
and then here's another underrated one for me. When Carver's going to fuck with Bodie's corner, and he like pulls up, but he doesn't arrest them. He's like, "Hello, Bodie. Hello, Officer Carver."
I still think my favorite bunk in
This is how proper people address each other.
What were you saying, Jim?
My favorite bunk in McNulty scene is McNulty gets that call in the middle of the night. He's like,
Oh my god.
How did you get this number? And Bunk is sitting on the toilet, passed out in that lady's apartment with a cigar in his
My
mouth.
clothes smell like pussy. Jimmy, do I still smell like pussy?
He puts him to bed in his son's bunk beds. Oh, phenomenal.
It's great. I also love the scene if we're sticking with the first season here when the first time they bring Bodie in, it's Herc and Carver bring him in. They're like shooting pool with him and shit, like acting civil, and like Carver, and then they had to bring him back to like booking or whatever. And Carver's like, Bodie, next time you want to run the hustle, you got to get into it a little bit quicker than that.
To tell you the truth.
Hello, Officer Carver.
Hello, Officer Carver. Hello, Bodie.
Certainly one of the best relationships that's in that series is between those two.
I texted Mike today, Jordan, that had they made a sixth season, I'm convinced it would have opened with Michael Lee sticking a shotgun down Marlowe's mouth.
Michael fucking Lee. He is one of my favorite characters in that show. He might have become.
He's the next coming of Omar.
Yeah, I know. He might have became my, especially at the end. What does he say? Like right at the end, it's like, "Thank you for your cooperation" or whatever. Right before he leaves, like a total Omar line that he drops after he holds those people up.
That's just a shotgun. That's just your knee.
By the way, Mike D'Antoni just resigned.
Did he really?
Yeah.
No way.
I couldn't believe they were going to bring him back anyways.
Well, yeah, you'd have to assume he wasn't coming back, but I didn't think they'd do it right away.
Oh, I thought they brought him in and said they were gonna like keep him on for that season, and then he immediately went up to the front office and demanded they sign his extension for like the 2015 season. Like, you don't have that kind of pull anymore. This isn't 2006 in Phoenix, bud.
I will say one thing though, for a show that's like generally like really dark, like a dark show, Chris Parlow and Marlowe are two of the scariest motherfuckers on the planet.
Oh man, you're leaving out Snoop. You're leaving out Snoop.
Yeah, but
That's
like, yeah, Snoop, you're right.
My searing hatred of Snoop doesn't let me see her as scary, just obnoxious.
Do you know she actually is a gangster and has been to jail before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading today. So I guess the guy who plays Bubbles wandered around the Baltimore like ghettos to get ready for it, like in between seasons. And someone, like a dealer, just came up to him and gave him a file and was like, "Hey man, you look like you need a fix."
That is great. I actually was watching. Good friend originally saw it, but I watched on YouTube. Apparently, in No Reservations, Anthony Bourdain was going around Brooklyn with Michael K. Williams, and they went into this Cuban food joint. And in real life, Michael K. Williams, the guy who plays Marlowe, are like boys, like they're real tight. And then like out of nowhere, the guy like completely unplanned, Marlowe's the actor who plays Marlowe walked in. Is like, "Hey, yo, Jamie," and just like both of them are like eating together with Anthony Bourdain for like.
Oh, I love to see that. Yeah, I mean, I went through the debate for a while, but I don't think Breaking Bad is even close to The Wire.
Not even close.
Exactly, that's what I was saying.
Here, but you know, it's actually really funny because it's funny how you bring that up. There's a YouTube video called Beyond the Wire. That's like the edited like DVD stuff on it, and they all talk about the characters that they actually like tried to be like not interviewed for, but what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Tried out for. And like you listen to who like they tried out for, and it was like Bunk was supposed to be Freeman. Could you imagine Bunk being Freeman?
No.
And like Marlowe was supposed to be Avon, and Bubbles tried out for Stringer Bell.
Oh my god. Could you imagine Clay Davis as Omar? See.
Have you guys seen? I haven't seen it yet, but Cedar Falls or Cedar
Rapids.
Cedar Rapids.
It's the movie with Ed whatever Davis or Harris.
Doesn't Clay Davis's character, isn't he obsessed with The Wire?
He's in that. Does he do the sheet in that?
He's in the movie, and supposedly his character is just obsessed with The Wire, but but not Clay Davis, but like Avon. So he just recites lines from Avon and fucking Omar. It's definitely worth a look up. It's hilarious.
That's great. I read about that movie like a couple weeks ago, and I tried to download it, but I couldn't find a good download for it. Shit, I was gonna say. Oh, so yeah, and another awesome part from the first season, since that's all I'm through on the rewatch right now, is when they're going up to bust. What they first think is Avon and it's just Avon, and they're just sitting in like the empty room on top of Orlando's. And like, what's left? He's like, we got like 100,000 in the safe. He's like, all right, better open it up. Don't want to waste a good safe.
And of course, one of my all-time favorite parts is where they're at the co-op for the first time, and one of Stringer's henchmen is taking notes. And it's like, motherfucker, are you taking notes at a fucking drug conspiracy meeting?
I just rewatched it and I forgot how funny it was. Avon and Prop Joe yelling at each other at the basketball game.
Oh, that was a great scene.
Dressing up like fucking Pat Riley. It's 85 fucking degrees out. What are you doing?
Nah, I mean, Avon is by far my favorite character on the show, I think.
I don't know. You know who I'm really liking the second time around? I didn't really pay attention too much. Sidnor.
Sidnor actually has a bigger role in that show than you remember the first time around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also decided I love Jay, too.
Oh, Jay's one of my favorites.
Because he's always eating. Always eating Chinese.
Ultimate comedic relief. I love whenever they're going into his office, he's just flipping through a porno and like ripping through some lo mein.
Dude just loves the Chinese food more than anything.
His dialogue with Rawls to save McNulty's job, talking about how beating off his flaccid 4.5-inch dick.
Sitting there with one in one hand.
I could discuss it for hours.
Oh God, absolutely.
It's just so well made.
Yeah. Let's not forget what may or may not have brought us into this was Michael K. Williams doing the "Hunting We Will Go" whistle before the Brooklyn Nets game.
Oh yeah, I plan to roll into that eventually, but I just want to talk about The Wire for a while.
A man's got to have a code.
Yeah.
I rip and run, Your Honor.
When the fucking Hound said that on Game of Thrones, I lost my damn mind.
Oh, I pooped my pants.
I like blacked out for a second. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
A man's got to have a code.
Yeah, it was in the new season when him and Arya like riding on a horse and like Arya's asking for a horse or whatever, and it like just ends up being like, oh, and you'll like kill this guy, but you won't kill like these people because like man's got to have a code. It was such a great because he almost is Omar on that show. Almost.
He is. I agree.
He's the closest thing probably in.
Yeah.
Omar.
That's so funny. He has a little bit of a looser code than
Oh
Omar.
my God, Vince Carter.
That's because there's no player better in basketball, Jim.
Vince Carter found the Wayback Machine for a 7-game series.
Oh, I shouldn't have even let you know that he had that game winner, Jordan.
Look at him. Look at that swag. Boom. Look. Boom.
Only swag stepping.
Eventually, by the end of this fourth quarter, his jersey's going to be fully untucked. He's just going to be shredding through people. It's going to be great.
But not to go back to The Wire for a second, since we're all such huge fans of Method Man. When on that YouTube video Beyond the Wire, which I do suggest as soon as you get off this podcast watching it, it's like 7 minutes long, and hearing them talk about the roles they actually interviewed for.
It's an investment. I have 7 minutes, Jordan.
And they have Method Man on, and he's like, all of his rapper friends are like hitting him up, like, yo, you gotta get me on the show, you gotta get me on the Wire. He's like, motherfucker, I interviewed for that shit. You know, like, I actually rehearsed and got that role.
Yeah, didn't they ask him how he got the role and like, can they get him on?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get that? It's like, I fucking interviewed for it.
Fucking rehearsed and fucking interviewed for it.
I practiced.
It is a little.
What's that?
It is a little crazy that Randy and Cheese never met up at any point.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Considering his last name is fucking Wagstaff, you know.
Yeah. Did they ever actually like come out and say it during the show, or is it just like it's like
It's like one of those common known things, you know.
But speaking while we're on the topic of cheese and great moments, one of my all-time favorites, right at the end of the series, fucking Slim Charles like a motherfucker, fucking caps him.
Oh,
Great.
so
I
good.
lost my mind. I almost gave him a standing ovation when I watched it the first time. Hell yeah.
That's like when I gave Michael a standing ovation when he killed Snoop finally.
Oh man. How'd my hair look, boy?
No, I just cheered. I
We selling coke and hair on and beam on, nigga. If you ain't got that kind of money.
There it is. I thought I was gonna let slip the first N-word because we the first N-bomb.
I'm sorry to all of our black audience members. I'm the
No,
I'm the Donald Sterling of the podcast.
and we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, no, it's funny though, because like when I've noticed like since I've started watching The Wire, my vernacular has started slipping back towards like using those like.
Dude, so true. What's what? This I know Kyle doesn't listen to this shit, but this girl that Kyle had brought over this past evening, she called me Jordy, and I was like, that bitch gone get got, and I was like, who are you?
What?
It was funny. So over like April vacation was last week for the school that I work in, and a family. They have 2 kids in my program. They went down on they went to like Philadelphia, DC, somewhere else in Baltimore. I was like, oh yeah, how was B-more? They were like, where? I was like, I'm sorry, Baltimore. How was Baltimore?
How's Bodymore?
Yeah. I was like, you see the harbor? And like, how they was like, oh, it was pretty nice. I was like, yeah, some parts are.
Did you go to West Baltimore?
Yeah, did you hit up the West Side Projects? You see the low rises at all?
No, it's just like, and like I said, you could discuss it for hours. It's such like an intricate like you know, like when Avon hooks Marlo up with the Connect through Sergio.
Oh, that was so sick. When he that was the last person I thought I was going to see when he came out.
Yeah,
and
right when like Sergio agrees to it, you just see Avon just throw up the West Side to him real quick, just kind of like passing the torch because he knows he's never going to get out.
Yeah, well, Marlo was West Side, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like he's like when he was saying like how he hates those East Side motherfuckers and any way to help out the West Side because, I mean, in reality, Avon didn't really have any people left by the time that show was over. He had Slim.
It was him and Weebay from behind bars.
He had Slim Charles, an underrated member of the show, mind you.
Slim fucking Charles. He was
How
he was
hilarious
a slow
was
guy. One of my favorite characters.
I love Slim Charles.
Oh, it was great. How hilarious is Weebay's freak out in jail when the guy knocks over his fish?
Oh, dude.
You not do that, man.
No, I like Weebay and Stringer's conversation when they find out that Greg's was a cop, not one of Orlando's whores. He gives that look up.
Yeah.
She wasn't a cop. She was one of Orlando's whores.
He's just trying to talk himself out of it. He's like, there's no way.
And Stringer going, did you dump the guns? And he still got that look of shock on his face, like.
She was a cop? Oh, God.
Did you dump? Yeah, we put him down a storage drain. She was a cop. Of course we dumped the guns.
Oh.
Or the one, you know, I could talk about these fucking Snoop buying the damn nail gun.
That was hysterical.
You weren't that bump.
This is like $900.
Yeah, you weren't that bump.
I fucking love that show.
I'm probably gonna knock
it.
And I knock episodes of it out so goddamn quick.
Quick as I can take them in.
Quick as I can take them in.
I love when Herc gets promoted to sergeant. He's like, I can't wait to make Carver kiss the stripes.
Stripes.
so great.
Nah, I mean, it's up there with. I mean, I love Sopranos. I know you guys aren't. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Sopranos all the way through, but it's up there for me. And I love Breaking Bad. And
Yeah,
I love Breaking Bad too, but I think The Wire is far superior.
Yeah, I think Breaking Bad sits at the 2 spot for me, but there's a large gap between the two of them.
Absolutely.
I just remember, like, when I moved into my apartment, and Kyle was like, "What do you mean you've never seen The Wire?"
Oh, Jordan. I remember I eventually just took it upon myself a couple years ago. I was just like, I've heard so much about the show, I gotta watch it. So, like, I have the gap in between work. So I would leave work, bang out like 3 or 4 episodes, go back to work, come back, bang out a couple while I was watching dinner, and then fall asleep. Like, it was like ritual for me. I'd kill like 6 episodes a day.
I would give Oz a watch.
Oz is fantastic.
I would give Oz a watch just for the sheer fact it's funny seeing all the characters from The Wire on that show.
Omar's in that one too.
What?
Omar's in that one too.
So is Carver. So is Daniels. So is Bodie. So is Avon.
It's so funny seeing them in like other roles, because especially Game of Thrones, where you see Mayor Tommy Carcetti as Littlefinger. It's like, oh shit, it's Carcetti.
Dude, you can't watch those 2 shows at the same time like I've been doing. I'm
Peter
like,
Carcetti.
what the fuck is Carcetti doing on there?
Tommy,
Doesn't he have to deal with the budget?
Tommy, get back on the campaign trail. You gotta run for governor, man.
He doesn't have time to kidnap Sansa.
What are doing? He barely has time to sleep in his own house.
Tommy Littlefinger. Oh.
Did you really think our last podcast was stagnant?
It got a little slow from time to time, so I figured we'd talk about something we're very passionate about. And you know what? We'll talk a little more about The Wire next one, too.
Super. Let's all knock off a couple episodes and catch up together.
I'm on episode 9 season.
I got some work to do. I just started the 2nd season now, so.
I'm on season 5.
Jordan, start at like 1.5. We'll keep it going.
Are you saying that I have to digress all the way back to the first season again?
Yes, you do. I'm forcing my roommate to watch it too, so I'm literally watching ahead and making him watch and rewatching again.
Yeah, Jordan, you got to go for a 3rd then. You got to go for the hat trick.
I forgot how Wallace and Greggs get shot within like 2 episodes of each other.
Yeah,
How
Greg.
insanely intense that like 2 hours of television is.
Yeah, Greg's is like a ghost for the last like 4 episodes of the 1st season.
Oh.
She wasn't a cop.
No.
Like leading up to the top urine trip.
Did you dump the guns down the Storm Drain Bay? Dude, she was one of Orlando's girls.
Lovely
Also,
day.
I love whenever I feel like every time they go into Stringer's like copier store or whatever it is, like they always come and talk it. He's like, nigga, shut the fuck up, and then he like has to hit the copier. He's like, all right, go. You know we don't talk business in the car. Why are you talking business in the car?
I love the when Dee thinks he's gonna get killed by Weebay.
Yeah.
Oh my
He's
god!
like, I need you to feed my fish.
Yeah, that's what's funny. The second time listening through or watching it through, because like the whole time Weebay's like, "Fuck is wrong with this guy?" Like the whole time he's on looking, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He just got to feed my fish."
Let's go. We gotta get going. Come on.
Yeah, I gotta get the filling. I need to show you what food to feed my Tetris.
Weebay is a scary motherfucker too.
He's great. He's ice cold. He's not as ice cold as
Barlow?
No.
Chris Barlow is ridiculous.
In jail.
Yeah, and then there's that was so sick when they're both leaning up against the fence talking to each other. That was cool.
But like that's what scares me about prison, because those guys exist in this world, and they do hang out with each other, and those are the people who try to get stepped to and get killed.
Yeah, and you know there isn't only 2 of them. Like,
That's per
You know what
city.
another good scene is? When when they're in the prison and Weebay's leaning up against the wall with what's his face?
Avon?
No, the guy before Weebay, the boxing guy.
Oh, Cuddy.
Cuddy.
oh, Cuddy. God, I could keep on going.
When they're both Weebay and Cuddy are leaning up against the fence, and they're playing softball, and Avon crosses through the middle of the softball game, and everyone stops playing. He gets like quiet, and then it's like as soon as he makes his way across, all right, game on.
They keep on cutting back to their cells, and they got like cell phones, and they got Xboxes and goldfish and shit up in there.
Oh yeah.
We're eating KFC.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You got to get in on this, man. You got to get in on this.
I got my 2-piece. But yeah, speaking of Chris though, I thought one of the, I can't wait to watch it again. But one of the insanely out of place things is when he has to jump town because they're onto him, and Marlo's like, you gotta see your people. It's like, Chris has people, and he's chilling by the car. He's talking to his wife and his children. It's like, who is this guy?
he's got a wife, a daughter, and a son.
Yeah, he said all of 6 words, all pertaining to killing Omar, and now he's got a wife and children.
That was probably the thing I disliked the most about The Wire was the way they killed off Omar.
I love the way they killed off Omar.
I certainly understood it. I think the thing that I didn't like. I mean, I didn't mind it. I actually kind of liked it too. I just wish his warpath had more people that he killed in it.
Yeah.
Once they ended that episode where they told him that what was the blind dude's name? It was
Butch.
Bush?
Butchie.
Oh,
Yeah,
Butchie. Yeah. Once they told him to kill Butchie, he's holding the cereal and closes up and you see his eyes turn on fire. It's oh man, he's gonna kill everybody. And he killed who did he kill? He killed Bird. Oh no, he did. Did he kill Bird?
No, Bird went away for life.
Bird went away for life.
Who's the guy that he killed? I forget who he blasted when he was using the broom as a crutch. I forget who he blasted on the street.
Oh, that's Savino?
No,
it was
Savino died a while ago. I mean, Savino. Actually, to tell you the truth, I never even know what happened to Savino.
I think Savino went to prison. It was
Did he though? Because Savino got away after shooting Greggs, and then they never talk about Savino again.
I think it was Stink though. But either way, that was the one, and he crossed him, and then Bunk finds the list on him, and he's so dejected because he had the conversation. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna let you go, but you can't do this anymore." And then he finds the list. And, motherfucker. He finds the whole list of the Stanfield organization in his pocket, with several names crossed off.
No, and there's I'll tell you 2 other underrated parts that it's just because I'm at the end of, and I'm back in the 5th season, is when they kill Prop Joe, and the papers bring up stories and stuff, and they're and there was a drug-related murder, Joseph Masterson or something like that, and they're push it to page 3. And it's you realize how unimportant these guys are to the grand scheme of things, but in the grand scheme of things, they're that much big in Baltimore.
That's actually what I loved about Omar's death. The whole thing surrounding it. He was a king, and then he got killed by a boy, and they mixed up the toe tag in the.
Oh, dude, that's the best part is when the guy fixes the fucking toe tag.
Oh.
Yeah, they mix it up, and it's just that's how unimportant he was in real life, but in the scene, he was top dog.
When you hear the paper talk about both of them, and we have a drug-related murder and Omar Little, it's
Did you just see that?
It's push it to page 5.
George, did you just see that?
What?
Did you just see Marcus Aldridge throw a pass to himself off the backboard?
Yes.
Did you know that Kemba did that against the Heat the other night?
I did. I watched him do that.
Great. Oh, I missed that. That must have been wonderful.
I'm just saying I said that Portland was going to win this.
I hope they do. I don't like Houston.
I think they might close it out.
I think.
All right. Well, let's move on to some sports nonsense.
Man's got to have a code.
What's that?
Man's got to have.
Man's got to have a code, Jim.
Got it.
Is there any way I can? Is there any way I can take a half to make a whiskey?
Wow.
You go right ahead.
Wow. Ow! Ow!
George dropped a few of those this weekend.
I did.
Big Papa J came out in full force last weekend.
I talked to Frankie and he's like, dude, I'm so mad that I went back. I was like, I'm a little disappointed I let you smoke weed because I knew as soon as you did it, you were gonna be like, I gotta go.
Ah, that was upsetting.
Fucking Will leading us on that grand adventure.
We walked across the entire island of Manhattan.
I know we did. I was so tired. Then we stop into that like Orlando's of New York.
You want to talk about a dive bar to end up at 3 a.m. My
This
God.
was
A pizza with every drink.
Yeah, you got a
That guy.
small pizza with every drink at that bar.
that's outstanding. Probably not nearly as much as I ate.
Alrighty, let's talk about the biggest story in sports lately, and that's clearly Jameis Winston stealing crab legs.
$30 worth of crab legs.
Crap people.
Do you know how funny his punishment is?
10
Was
hours
it-
of community.
20 hours of community service,
I
a
heard
$30 fine, a suspension from the baseball team for fucking crab legs and crawfish.
My favorite part about that $30 fine is the crab legs cost like $32. Like he didn't.
What they did is they took the extra $2 and they multiplied it by 10 and called it his community service hours.
Unless of the. What an
What a
idiot
moron.
though. How stupid can this kid be? Like he
Where
already
do
got. He
you
already,
put crab legs when you steal them?
I think he just put them in the bag and tried to walk out with them or some shit. I don't know. He's stupid. I don't know. Like how dumb can you possibly be? Like you already got clear sexual assault charges. Like you really have to go under the radar after that. Like you gotta like step off a little bit.
You gotta think this shit out.
I know.
Man.
Like even something as arbitrary as stealing crab legs. Like you can't do that.
I mean,
Come on, dude.
it's just upsetting because Shabazz fought for all the unlimited meals and snacks, and he, that's just not good enough for him. He has to go stealing crab legs.
And crawfish,
Dining Hall
don't
doesn't
forget
have
about the crawfish.
Oh, and the crawfish, excuse me.
Jim, the dining hall doesn't have crab legs and crawfish though, so I can see where he's coming from.
Oh, I mean, crab legs and crawfish are delicious, but here's the thing. You didn't steal like a blue crab's claw legs. You decided to steal a fucking king crab's claw legs. What are you gonna stick those in your underpants? Like.
The worst part is snow crabs are better. I mean, let's be real here. That's a great pick, Jim.
Thank you.
Is there anything better than when a coach says they're stepping down, they're not actually being fired? Yeah, because D'Antoni is willingly stepping down from being the head coach of the Lakers.
Yeah, Kobe didn't say he wanted him gone or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
D'Antoni woke up one day, went to his wife, he's like, I'm done being the Lakers head coach.
I am finished.
Right when I have the third pick in the draft.
It's right up there with Urban Meyer's decision to step down from coaching because of his family to avoid NCAA.
Taking a book out of Pete Carroll right there.
That one is great, the Urban Meyers one. Because then he decides to go on fucking College Football Live, which travels all over the place also.
Yeah, it's not like he's downgrading his travel arrangements. He's just avoiding being sanctioned. And then he goes to Ohio State, fresh off sanctions, so nobody's going to look there for a couple of years.
No.
Fucking Aaron Kraft.
Well, I know how much love Aaron Kraft, Jordan.
I know he's not related to the football team, but fuck him. I hope he doesn't even get drafted.
Oh my.
He's not going to get drafted. Who's going to want that guy?
He's going to get a second-round pick.
Yeah, and then he's not going to make the team. Why would you waste a second-round pick on him?
Because he's a poor point guard that someone's going to want.
No.
I think
if he gets-
Shabazz raised his draft stock so incredibly that he might go become a top 15 pick.
Do you think it's because of that video that I sent you about him crossing up Chris Paul and shooting a fadeaway on him?
I just feel like he's probably going to kill it in the off-season tryouts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That kid's a warrior, so he's going to look good, and then his height's the only thing that's working against him.
I mean, I understand that, but if you have the raw skill and you have the actual because not only is not only is he a pretty good basketball player, he's got the basketball IQ of a lot of players I haven't seen before.
No,
Not many with the IQ he has for it.
Yeah, as much as I enjoyed watching him win and play, it was almost as fun watching when timeouts were called or something, and he would go over to parents or somebody younger and put his arm around them and talk to them through the whole thing on the way to the bench. He was a big piece as far as that's concerned.
I think DeAndre Daniels deciding to go pro is the dumbest fucking thing on the planet, mind you.
Yeah, not a great decision on his part.
Come on, DeAndre.
You needed that senior year. You needed to want that one more year,
He absolutely did.
He definitely had someone in his ear talking about the money, and like, what college kid isn't going to be like, oh man, I make like $1 million next year? Are you kidding me? I'm going.
Yeah.
It's either that or he already hit the cycle for slaying women at campus, and he doesn't have anything left in front of him there. He already got the ring.
That is possible.
By the way, Jim, did you see, or Mike, did you guys see on Barstool that the basketball team that David Portnoy's putting together
It's got Josh Boone, doesn't it?
for some like competition that they're doing, and Josh Boone's on it,
And Ryan Gomes.
and Ryan Gomes.
Ryan Gomes is still alive. He was on the Clippers at one point.
Dude, fucking when I saw Hilton Armstrong on the fucking Warriors, my mind was blown.
Getting minutes too.
Getting quality minutes in clutch games. We're running Hilton Armstrong out there.
I don't think it's as ridiculous as seeing Jermaine O'Neal float around on the floor like he's 26 years old again, wearing dreadlocks. The Pacers jersey. I know they're the same colors, Hilton, but you're not that guy anymore. Or not,
No, he's
Hilton,
not.
sorry,
Your turnaround jump shot isn't anything close to what it used to be.
but he's still got the headband. Dude, he's playing hard. Also, speaking of random UConn players showing up recently, when like the Donald Sterling thing hit, I saw on the bottom line, I think it was on ESPN, they were showing like tweets of like NBA players and stuff. Charlie Villanueva shows up with a tweet. It's like as a player of like Puerto Rican ethnicity, it's great to see, you know, this, that, and the other thing. It's like NBA has won or something like that. It's like, Charlie, shut the fuck up.
Let's move on to that because that's clearly been the overbearing story of the last week.
Jim knows my feelings on the subject. I think it's the most ridiculous story. I mean, I think what he did is fucking horrible what he did. But I think the punishment that he's going to get is such a joke.
Well, it's the most they can do to him. I mean,
I know it's the most they can do, but someone's got to like shoot him in the ball sack or something, or staple his eyelids shut. It's just like, oh, that poor guy is going to lose a Bugatti. That's really what he's being judged. A Bugatti and like another car. That's his punishment.
Oh yeah.
I'm with you on that, Jordan, but for a different reason. I mean, like, it's kind of ridiculous that over the years, like, clearly this guy has been absolutely deplorable and heinous. Like the entirety of his like ownership tenure, like whether it's being cheap or like all these like things that came out with like Elgin Baylor, and he like goes and settles out of court for all these racism things in slums. And then like obviously they had to do something. They had to do something big to look like he cares. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if everybody who's a big name person got persecuted at this level for racist comments, then it'd be ridiculous. It's just, I mean, the guy's clearly a racist. He made these comments. You got to do something about it because he's a dick, and I don't like, I'm not with his comments at all. But like, it's like, the guy said it, and.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean,
do you see where I'm going? Like, I understand you have to do something.
Well, it does come back to like there is this like weird thing that sports like, well, not as much baseball, but basketball and football. It is like a weird form of slavery. It's these big, like, white oil fucking Rockefeller era, like, owners just breeding black people to be the best they can be and make the money, you know?
It's horrible.
Yeah, but it's not like they're incurring the 3/5 rule. Like, he's still cutting checks to Black Doc Rivers, paying Blake the maximum, paying C3 through the maximum. It's not like he's, like, slave driving these guys. He's giving them millions. If he's a racist, he's a racist. But like, and I'm not defending him. I'm just saying it's kind of ridiculous that just like of all the things that he's done, it was him saying don't bring black people to the game that got him like, he has to lose his team and he can't come to the NBA. It wasn't like
there were some other parts of that, Mike, that were pretty.
Well, I think there's
outlandish.
Adam Silver having to establish himself and like his first big decision he had to make.
Oh yeah, the poor guy had to make a decision on. I don't feel bad for that. I think even
I
don't feel bad at all. I'm just saying, like, of all the things to jump on the guy that he's done in his entire tenure as the Clippers owner, like, I guess it was the nail in the coffin. But it's just kind of like, it's just silly seeing like the NBA owners and Adam Silver and the NBA as a whole just having to cover their tracks now, only because like finally. Like this came to light in a way that everybody's going to see it, as opposed to his other transgressions.
I think what happened.
I mean, I agree. I think in many ways also because it is a Los Angeles team that that because it's becoming such a big franchise again. Well, I mean, I guess it was never a franchise, but it's the LA franchise right now since the Lakers are going to be in a bit of a depression for the next couple of years. They're not going to be anything close to the Lakers of the past anytime soon. I think they need that big, flashy new owner, like Floyd Money Mayweather.
Ugh.
Now, what'd you have to say, Jim? I'm sorry about that.
I don't know. What I think happened was, and I don't know. Stern took over the league in what, 1980? 79?
Like.
I think it was like 82, right?
Yeah.
No, I think
Oh, get up. Get up,
I
Chandler
think he took
Parsons.
it over in 80. I could be wrong on that, but he took it over around then, and the NBA was in a total shit pit when he took it over.
Absolutely.
I mean, the league was nearly bankrupt. The players weren't playing the new three-point line. I mean, they had a massive coke problem. People were totally not interested in it, and he totally turned it around. And I think what happened, and I could be wrong on that, is if you have a league that's almost bankrupt, you're not going to turn away a billionaire owner.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to sweep some things under the carpet to keep your league afloat, like covering a racist asshole. So I think enough time went by where Stern couldn't just turn around after 20 years of overlooking this shit. And then so maybe this is something
he did, but David Stern helped fucking Donald Sterling out in some crazy fucking ways. I mean,
absolutely, but he needed Sterling when he first got started to keep the league afloat.
Oh, I agree. He's the longest tenure owner.
He was also a horrifying human being.
I mean, when you think about the fact that he basically, because he was buddies with Donald Sterling, gave Chris Paul to Donald Sterling. I mean,
that did happen.
He was a Laker, and then he was like, well, the Clippers just can't do anything in the last 29 years. I'm going to give him a layup here.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him Chris Paul for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. I think Stern got stuck and couldn't act on anything Sterling had done.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, Jim, that I didn't really think about. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's great that finally they had some ammunition to get him the fuck out of there because he was a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
It's some pretty hefty ammunition.
And not that I'm afraid of it, but I don't know. It seems like kind of a slippery slope to go on if this is the precedent they're going to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Racism in basketball is probably...
They're going to have to do this for players now, too.
Yeah, I mean, that means they're probably going to have players stop using the N-word on the court and shit like that. Like they're going to it's going to go that way.
Oh, absolutely. It has to. I mean, if you're going to ban a billionaire owner for life and kick him out of the league, what are you going to do for some role player who's dropping N-bombs on the sideline playing 8 minutes a game?
Let's just say that it's good news for Kevin Garnett that he's twilighting in his career because that guy drops more N-bombs than I can.
I will say Michael Wilbon said something like that. It was like a weird thing he said, and I'm surprised it didn't get a little bit more attention. But I was watching PTI, and he said, in reality, the NBA is probably the most important thing to black people right now. And I was like, that's kind of racist, but yet probably factually accurate. Yeah. So it's just like, and the NBA is just because it is such a it's just so one-sided, black to white that certain things when they happen, anything racist, anything related to gender, like remember when Kobe got in trouble for calling someone a fag?
Yeah.
And the world exploded for about 4 weeks.
It was a ref, which was even better.
What?
I said it was a ref, which was even better. But
yeah, and it's just like it's definitely Donald Sterling didn't stand a chance. There was no way they could get away with giving him a year.
No.
They had to do the maximum, and I'm glad. I think it's a pretty adept penalty, especially if they can move it forward and get him away from the team and sell it. Which brings me actually to a point I wanted to make, and I'm not usually one for conspiracy theories, but hear me out on this one. So clearly, Donald Sterling was recorded, whether he knew or he didn't. I'm not sure if it's still in the air or not. But like, it was his girlfriend or his mistress that clearly has ties to Magic Johnson. So now those comments come out about Magic and all the black people, and now Magic's the front runner behind a $200 billion group that wants to buy the Clippers.
He ain't getting that team.
I mean, I'm not saying Magic would do, and I'm not one for conspiracy, but just like sit and think for that for the minute, like it, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, it's also that weird thing. Also, that Donald Sterling, as the longest tenured head coach, he was one of David Stern's boys. Not to bring it back to The Wire, but it's kind of like Burrell being under Mayor Royce.
Yeah.
Arquette needed his own guys in there, you know, like Silver had to get Donald Sterling out of that league, you know.
Oh yeah.
No, I feel you on that.
I'm just hoping the next lifetime ban is a package deal for Jim Dolan and Joey Crawford.
I need Jim Dolan to just come out hard against gay people. Just fucking bury him.
Oh,
and then, so I can get.
I hope he calls Carmelo the most racist shit on the planet.
I need James Dolan to see like Jason Collins and like be like, how could you bring that fruit cup to my ball game? You know, just something ridiculous, so I can be like, get him out!
Jordan, can you please say again that you hope James Dolan buries gay people? Because I don't think I've heard something so funny in my
Just fucking destroys them.
Just puts them in the dirt.
Because I feel like I need V. Stiviano, that transvestite that Donald Sterling was dating, to just move her way on to James Dolan. And catch James Dolan on videotape being like, do you see little twinkle toes out there? Get his fruit cup ass off the damn court. And be like, get rid of him. Magic Johnson become the
in a perfect world.
Or Phil Jackson goes into his office with a tap on. What do you think about Jason Collins? I ain't hired no fruit.
One can only hope.
By the way, the fucking girl. Did you listen to the full 15-minute tape?
No, I just saw quotes. I actually never listened to it.
It is just so blatantly racist, and this girl is just egging him on.
Oh yeah, talking about Matt Kemp, Magic Johnson,
dude, just egging on as much as possible. It's like catching like one of your good buddies in a rant about something, like and just like egging them on and egging them on,
and sending it to CNN.
Yeah, and then just being like, you'll never believe what Jim said. I got it on tape.
Here, let me show you.
Sure. And then what did she say? She's got 100 more hours of tape or something like that?
Oh. I don't know if I want to listen to 100 hours of Donald Sterling rant about racism.
About racism.
I mean, you hear 15 minutes, you kind of hear the whole couple hours. I feel like.
Yeah. You hear the first 10 minutes of black bashing. You don't really need the next, 99 hours and 50 minutes.
And the best part is, like, he didn't even.
The only thing he didn't go is like go down the litany of like racial slurs he could have used, but.
And the best part is they're like Donald Sterling confirmed that that's him. Didn't even fight it. He just knew the writing was on the wall.
He didn't really use many racial slurs in that, though, did he?
No, it was just so blatantly terrible.
It was weird. Like, it was so racist, but he didn't like drop a lot of racial slurs. He was just
he didn't use any N-bombs or anything like that. He just was like.
It was weird.
He was just that perfect kind of that gooey, delicious racism that racial people get away with.
The perfect kind of racism that only the 1950s can breed.
Oh, exactly. Only someone like living in fucking Alabama, not using the N-word, but just being so perfectly gooey and racist.
Oh, and it didn't help that when it came out, Jordan and I were about 5 or 6 beers deep at that point. We weren't really processing. We're just like, guess he's racist.
Oh, Donald Sterling's a racist. We'll pick this back up later.
Yeah.
In the morning, it's like the biggest fucking deal on the planet.
Like,
Jim, let's go ahead. Jim, let's go ahead and put a pin in this. I need another round, and then we'll get back to it.
We'll get back to this.
All right, Donald Sterling's a racist. Jim, you got the next round.
All right, well, the Rangers are coming on soon. I guess we'll pick that up later.
By the way, they got fucking tooled on last night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I felt bad.
At least you guys are going to the Garden for Game 7 and not in Philly. That'd be fucking shitty.
I am currently missing the Avalanche. Let me see what they're doing.
Oh, Jim is missing his fair weather team.
I am. They're in a Game 7 as well.
Stop being a butthole, Jim.
Ooh, they're winning. Hooray. Okay.
But yeah, the Donalds, and then the protest by the you know what, I understood the Clippers, of course, because they're allowed to protest.
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. My least favorite thing about the whole fucking thing, the fucking Heat.
The fucking Heat that have absolutely nothing to do with it.
Guys, listen up. The camera's off us. Guys, the camera's off us. What can we do? All right, we have to take a stand here. No, you don't. Rep the Heat name. You're 2-time champions. Fuck you guys.
This also goes back to fucking Eric Spoelstra a little bit too, because they had to get together on this, and Eric Spoelstra has to be like, guys, like I get it and all, but our owner's not a racist.
In fact, he might be the antithesis of a racist. Like,
our owner is actually probably the least racist human being.
I want to know how it felt for Chris Anderson.
Yeah, right?
Who has nothing to do with any of it.
Nothing.
He couldn't relate to that story if he tried, and he has to turn his warm-ups inside out and throw them in the middle of the court.
Like obviously you knew the Clippers had to do something. And then there's my favorite. There's supposedly Golden State was just not going to come out to the game last night if it went any other way but him being banned for life. Like, once again, your owner's not racist. Like,
yeah.
And you guys are based out of Oakland. Get your ass on that court.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of people in Oakland that want to watch you play.
You're holding up the economy of that city. Get on the
fucking court.
Yeah, but going back once again to the Heat, as I'm sure you guys couldn't tell about my passionate screaming right there. Like, what the fuck? Like, you guys can't let up the limelight in a first round series against the Hornets or the Bobcats, which you're going to sweep.
Oh,
you have to bring something in.
I understand the sentiment behind it.
I do too, but
it was unnecessary. I agree.
It's such a LeBron move.
Just fire out a tweet. Say, we support the Clippers in that. That's all you have to do.
Like, but it's like one of those things also, like, fucking LeBron in that Pharrell hat.
Oh, God.
But that's what it kind of reminds me of. He's just such a,
He's leeching. He's a leech. He's a parasite.
It's like, LeBron, you're not even related with the Players Association. Chris Paul is the fucking president of that shit. Like, he had to take a stand of some sort, no matter what. Right. Besides being a Clipper, he had to make some sort of stand. I bet you it's not like LeBron called them up and was like, you know what, Chris, I'm going to help you out here. Me and my Heat buddies, we're going to drop our white warm-ups in the middle of the court and flip them inside out. And Kevin sitting there going, what the fuck are you doing?
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, let's recreate that phone call for Chris. I got you. We're gonna do the same thing you did. No, LeBron, you really don't have to. You don't have to, man. No, I got you. Please,
I got
LeBron,
you, dog. Dog, I got you.
Like, God damn it, LeBron.
But that's the way it's gotta have to go. It's gotta be like LeBron's gathering them all together, and him and Dwayne are just standing there, and Chris Bosh is being that. Yeah, guys. And it's just like there's got to be someone in that group, like a Shane Battier, who's going, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah, you had to use Shane Battier, who went to Duke. We couldn't use like Rashard Lewis or something like that.
There's got to be someone on that team who was like, "This is." It's it's probably Mario Chalmers.
He's like half raising his hand in the locker, like guys. Fuck. All right.
Guys, this is ridiculous.
Ray Allen was probably lacing up his shoes in the pregame, just like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Exactly. Veteran Ray Allen's like, I went to school in Connecticut.
Yeah. Actually, as much fun for me as being I like the Warriors in the West. They may or may not be my West team, but watching that game right after the Sterling comments on, what was it, Saturday or Sunday? Sunday. Yeah. And the Clippers threw down their uniform or their warm-ups, and they were all wearing them inside out. But every once in a while, they would pan past the Clippers bench, and one guy fucked up, and he put it back on the right way, and it was hilarious. It was so fun. Like they'd go across, like, oh, look at this stand against it, and it'd be like, Darren Collison with it on the right way. I'm like, Darren, get your shit together.
It was just and Mike, you bring up a good point, or one of, I forgot who said that he didn't use the N. He just used so many racial overtones. He jammed as many racial overtones as he could, like a hot pocket of a racial overtone.
It's like he talked around.
But it wasn't. But it's not like that runner winning that race and sticking his hand up in the air and turning his fucking back to the American flag in the Olympics when it was like the mid-race war. It was like, this was like some fucking old-ass, backwards-thinking motherfucker.
It's like when the coach gets interviewed and he doesn't really say anything. He kind of is, but he's talking around it the entire time.
Yeah.
That's what Donald Sterling did with the N-word. Just talked around it for 15 minutes.
And that was my only thing with the protests also, is like, when I think protest, I think something that's been going on it has been going on a while with him. But like Mike said, every player on that team is still being paid tons of money. I mean, Doc Rivers is the highest paid coach in the league?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think by far.
Yeah.
This isn't like, like you knew something terrible was going to happen to him. It's not like Adam Silver was going to be like, well, he's racist,
Well, not much.
No, people are just going to be racist when they have to be racist. So when everyone made like I'm not going to play, like we should protest the game, what, you think this guy was going to get away with it? What'd you think? We're all going to be like, well, it happens.
I really think this is more.
Troubles.
Sometimes people got to be racist. It's just like you knew this was going to be resolved in a week.
I don't know. I think this is more about Silver making a statement than it is. Obviously what Sterling said couldn't stand, but I think it was more about Silver being like, I'm the commissioner now. I'm going to do things my way. You can get on board, or I'm going to make your life miserable.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jim. How about the big dick move by Adam Silver being in office for what, like 4 months or two months?
Yeah,
2 months been in office. Like, all right, well, this is a big issue. This guy's fucking out.
Adam Silver must have been like, this is the easiest decision of all time. Well, I don't think he even had to meet with anyone. As soon as he met with Donald Sterling, Donald Sterling was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that was me on that.
What really got me on that, and I actually wrote it in that article that's up on Swing Sports, when Silver said, and I'm sure the other 29 teams will be in agreement with me, basically he's saying, you are all going to vote him out, or I'm going to make your life fucking miserable for the next 2 years.
Agreed.
You need 75% of the vote. There is no way there's going to be that one guy like, you know what? He's got a couple points.
That would be Jim
being that guy in that meeting and being like, I don't want to vote him out. It's not me.
He's being Kevin Spacey in The Usual. I don't think he's guilty. Guys, he's got.
It seems as if he's got a couple points about black people. Do you want to be the pariah? Do you want to be the the 28th person who's like,
And you know it's going to be the owner. You just know it's going to be the Bucks owner.
Oh, something like that.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Well, Shaq's not the majority owner of the. He's like what? He owns 25% of the Kings.
He's probably got Jay-Z ownership of the Kings. Yeah.
Okay. I think he has a little more than that, but.
But it's just not gonna. You're not gonna be that one owner who's gonna be like, I have a decision here.
Can I sleep on this one, guys?
Can I get back
I
to
think
you?
that one guy at the meeting is like, well,
I'm really thinking about keeping him.
I'm really.
Jordan, go back to what you were saying about
It's gonna be
Dallas.
fucking James Dolan.
That's what I was saying.
God, I hope so.
If anyone would do it, it would be Dolan.
Jordan, go back to what you were saying about Sterling just coming out and be like, oh, no, that was me. All I can think of is like when there's a really hard foul committed in the NBA and just the guy just raises his hands like, yeah, I got that.
Yeah. No, this is me. Like,
Nope,
not even a lawyer being like, we're gonna check into who this actually is. It's like, nah, my bad.
Yeah, let's just cut out the middle hitman here. That's me. How much do I owe you? Let me get my checkbook real quick.
Oh, $2.5 million. Oh, I guess I'll just sell like 4 of my Rolls Royces.
I don't know if you guys.
Here's a roll of my toilet paper. That should do it.
That should
Yeah.
do it.
Did you guys see Darren Ravel tweeted it out?
No.
It was like $2.5 million for Sterling is the equivalent of like I think like $56 for the average American.
Well, I mean, Jim knows my rant already, but I mean, I feel terrible for the guy that paid $12.5 million for the team and is going to sell it for 1.1. Well, I said 1.2. I'm going with the 1.2.
I think it's going to be.
I don't think he's getting that much.
It's a Los Angeles team.
It's the second Los Angeles team, and I know they're hot now.
They are the first Los Angeles team at the
No. They're hot now. The other Los Angeles team
Blake
is the
Griffin's
most
not going
successful.
anywhere, Jim.
The other Los Angeles team is the most successful franchise in NBA history, tied with the Celtics. They are still the Mets of Los Angeles.
The Los Angeles Lakers have a long road ahead of them, and I mean long.
I think
It doesn't matter. The Los Angeles Lakers could have a 100-year road ahead of them, not winning championships, and the Clippers still won't be caught up with them.
But like, they're like the in thing in now. They get celebrities at those games now, and you just wait until they get one of those celebrity owners like Floyd Mayweather.
Oh God, if Floyd Mayweather buys that damn
I
team.
hope he does. I hope the money team owns the Clippers.
Money Team Clippers. Anyways, I see what both of you guys are saying, but like as like a side to that, I mean, you got to think about like recent NBA purchasing. Like, how much did the Kings go for? The Sacramento Kings.
Way above market value. Way above market value.
They went for $350.
$350. Okay, so
No,
recently.
they went higher than that. The Bucks went for like $560.
So let's.
Who just got sold? The Bucks?
Bucks.
So hold on.
Bucks went for $560 million in that Bill
Hold on
Simmons.
a minute, though. Hold on a minute. I believe the Warriors most recently got sold for $800 million. That's in fucking Oakland.
I'm
$550,
telling you, man.
An Oakland team got, and just the even sponsors or no sponsors, second team or first team. This team is in LA. They're what's hot, and people want a piece of being an owner. Donald Trump recently said he's looking to buy the Bills. Like, who the fuck wants the Bills? But he'll probably pay upwards towards $600-700 million for it. And it's just what I mean. Rich people need to spend money on something. They can't buy 8 fleets of yachts. Like I just think
They
eventually
gotta do something with their money.
I think eventually the bidding war that's going to come out of it is like it's just going to keep on driving the price. Sponsors or no sponsors
I'm
first.
telling you that team is gonna. How much did the Dodgers go for? Dodgers went for 1.1, right?
1.1. Dodgers are a more valuable franchise than the Clippers financially.
Dude, but basketball is.
It doesn't make the money that MLB does.
I know. Well,
Not in the top five franchises.
but you're trying to tell me that there's not going to be someone that's going to drastically overpay for a Los Angeles basketball team.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they all know that Sterling has to sell it. So I mean, it's going to
No,
be.
there's going to be. He's no. Donald Sterling's not going to have that 75% of people vote against him.
Well, not only that, but I don't feel like it's only.
Not only that.
I don't think it's only going to be like 1 or 2 people that know he has to sell it. It's going to be like 12, 15 people that know he has to sell it. So they're going to start working against each other. Sterling's going to end out on top no matter what. But
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's going to drive it. I mean, obviously some people are going to bow out, but some people are going to really want an NBA team.
I give him $950.
I'm telling you, someone is going to.
That's actually pretty reasonable.
Someone is going to really, really overpay for a Los Angeles basketball team.
950 is actually a pretty nice number.
If they go for 1.2, I will chew on my sneaker in whatever podcast comes.
Next podcast, you better chew on your sneaker when I'm correct.
It won't be long, but I'll chew on my sneaker.
You heard it here now.
Well, here's the thing. Donald Sterling isn't going to lose that team yet until we go through like 27 lawsuits about him regaining that team.
It's going to be a couple years.
So we'll be on episode like 250.
We'll be on the bicentennial at that point.
Because we're going to get 12,000 lawsuits about something wrongful termination suit or something like that. You know, it's going to be.
Well, the one thing that the NBA has is that's to their credit is they have their own constitution that every owner has to sign. So they have their own set of rules, and Donald Sterling said in like that press conference that like, oh no, like we can do this. Like he's like, you can talk to the lawyers, but we can do this. So it might be fast tracked a little bit, but it's still going to be like an arduous process.
There's definitely going to be an arbitration to it of some sort. So.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I was actually just thinking, how crazy would it be? And just play with me for a minute here. How crazy would it be if the Seattle group stepped in and took the Clippers to Seattle?
Yeah, but
it'd be fantastic.
But I feel bad because the Clippers have been around for a while also. I mean, granted they used to be the Braves first, but.
Well, I mean, the most recent team was Sacramento. Sacramento's been around for a while. And they almost bought them.
Imagine they like swoop in, drop like 1.4, and immediately move them to Seattle.
That'd be nuts. I would love life. But I mean, just like as we've been discussing, it's all about the paper. So
yeah.
I mean, lineage doesn't really mean much as much as the bottom line to these owners and the commissioner. So if they swoop in and pay the most, then fuck it, they're gonna get it.
All I'm saying is if Floyd Money Mayweather gets that team name is being changed. The Los Angeles Money Team is what it's going to be called.
God, okay, all right. Let's
new head coach Ted DiBiase.
let's wrap up with Rough Go. And you can't do Donald Sterling or Jameis Winston.
That's fine.
You trying to tell me I can't do the Rough Go for fucking Donald Sterling?
I mean, that's the obvious pick. We're going for past that because that's not fair if one person picks that because it's the clear.
By the way, that you guys heard about before we go into that. You guys heard about that guy in Texas who like the cowboy guy who was like saying that slavery was a good thing.
Oh, the rancher or whatever.
The rancher who was suggesting that we should get back to slavery.
No, please elaborate. I haven't heard this yet.
I guess there was this rancher who was talking about like all the farming communities in the South like not getting enough like attention. And like them losing their property to different organizations and stuff like that. And he went on this big like racial like rant with it, and like it was mid Donald Sterling being told he can't have the team any longer. So it was like this guy's quietly saying racism is okay, and like saying that we should get back to slavery, and everyone kind of forgot about it because Donald Sterling was just using so many racial undertones.
Also, new headline: the Raptors just beat the Nets. They're up 3-2. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Oh wow!
How incredible would like if it's not gonna happen, but a Raptors Wizards Eastern Conference? That'd be fucking preposterous.
That'd be wild.
It'd be so much fun to watch. I was just watching that game and like so many people on the Raptors like, oh shit, that's where Chuck Hayes went. Like, all these players like, oh my god, that's where they are. They're in Toronto. Also, I was looking at the shirts that they handed out, like the free T-shirts they handed out, and they're sick. It just says "We the North" and a white T-shirt, black lettering. Fucking sick.
That's sick.
All right, so Rough goes.
Who should we start with?
Rough go. Anyone that agrees with Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
Mine. We're unanimous that he's the number one in this spot. We're picking number 2 or 3.
Donald Sterling might be number 2. I think we're picking for 3 right now. he's 1 and 2. He's taking both spots. 3 might be his wife.
All right, I'll go first. My rough go is Kevin Durant. Gotta make your free throws at home when you're an 88% free throw shooter and the star of the team and an MVP of the league.
Well,
yeah.
Granted, Joey
That is such bullshit.
No. Durant should hit those. I agree with you entirely, but Crawford is the biggest piece of shit on the planet.
Yeah, but you're a fucking NBA superstar.
I'm agreeing with you on that.
That's unbelievable that Joey Crawford. It's unbelievable that Joey Crawford. Even Kevin Durant was like, I gotta make it. Like, it's just something for the fucking yahoos within the media to talk about. You are an 88% free throw shooter, the MVP of the league, and the best player on that team. You got to make that second fucking free throw no matter what. I'm sorry.
I will go into yours for mine. Russell Westbrook is my rough go. I have never seen a worse triple-double in my life.
What was he, 10 of 31? Was it 10 of 31?
Oh.
Speaking of Joey Crawford, he's not my rough go. But, like, can you just imagine him and Ed Hockley, like, sitting in a dark room on big red leather chairs, like, masturbating and drinking scotch and laughing to each other?
Why are they masturbating? Why are they jerking each other? Are they doing, like, a Dutch rudder?
No, they're looking at pictures of themselves. It's like, and I can't take credit for it because I heard it in the Barstool Rundown today. But, like, if you know a ref's name, like, he's got to be a shitty ref. Like, you shouldn't know the names of the refs.
I think Hockley's not bad.
What's that?
Hockley's pretty good.
Hockley has his ups and downs.
Yeah, he did do that whole thing where Jay Cutler was on the Broncos and he fucked up that call against the Chargers.
Yeah.
But it's just if you know the ref's name, you shouldn't know any ref's name. It's like, oh yeah, oh shit, yeah, no, I recognize the name, but you shouldn't be like, oh man, talking about like Ed Hockley and Joey Crawford in everyday conversation.
Well, Joey Crawford at this point is just senile, and they got to get his fucking ass out of the league. But
he should have been tacked onto the Donald Sterling thing.
But I just think it's such bullshit that like, come on.
That's dunking out of a game for laughing.
It's just like one of those things.
That's one of my favorite clips of all time, Jim.
It's one of my pet peeves about sports is, you know, when they just say like a player like was distracted or granted the pass that he missed like gave my Giants the Super Bowl, but when they were like Brady threw a bad pass, Wes Welker's a fucking NFL wide receiver,
an all-star.
An all-star. Catch the fucking ball. Kevin Durant, you're an 88% free throw shooter, the MVP of the league. You can't go 3 of 6 from the free throw line. I'm like, it's just I mean, granted, I'll never know what it's like to have that pressure, but when you're supposed to be a superstar and the best at your job like that, I think an old man running at you is the least of your like, for example, Ray Allen, no doubt in my mind he would have made the next free throw.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So
that man shoots so many damn free throws. I can't see him being like, well, you know, Joey Crawford took the ball from me, so.
God, that middle-aged white man with a bald head just got in my head. I can't do it.
But even Kevin Durant was like, I should have made the free throw.
Yeah. So my rough go has to go to Al Jefferson, that poor bastard. So this guy finally gets into the postseason for the third time in his career, coming off like basically a 20-10 season. He's great. He works the Heat for the first game. They lose. The second game he does well. Gets the plantar fasciitis. I honestly can't pronounce that word. But whatever it is in his foot, and just like this guy just can't catch a break. Just everywhere he goes. Like was good in Boston, got shipped off to Minnesota, got injured there. Got shipped to Utah, did well in Utah, got to the playoffs, got hurt there. Now he's on the Bobcats, and like he's the focal point. He's great. Great season. Like they really don't have a guy that can defend him on the Heat, and he gets fucking hurt again. Like this guy can't catch a break. Poor guy. And then he can't play in the fourth game where they get beat in Charlotte. Like this guy deserves. If there's anybody that deserves a break, it's Al Jefferson. Rough go.
Absolutely.
Can I give one more rough go before Jim goes? Anyone who watched that Washington-Chicago game.
Oh my God.
Anyone who watched that abysmal playoff. It's a brutal sporting event to watch.
I was really hoping we were going to touch upon that game because that was fucking awful. Oh my god.
Mike, I'm actually surprised that we didn't get an opportunity to talk about that. That was the most brutal last. That was when a game. I mean, granted, losing Taj Gibson was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge
Still.
for that game. They needed Taj Gibson bad.
Still, like.
But still, someone had to score over 80.
That entire just playoff series was just a train wreck in slow motion. Like after watching the first game, and we're getting beat up, it's like, oh shit, we can't run with these guys. Maybe we'll lock it down the next game. Lose the second game at home. It was terrible. And they threw up a stat last night that we had lost like our last 6 home games in a row in the playoffs, and that was number 7 or something like that. Like, we got to clean it up. Like we need somebody who can score. Like DJ Augustine can't be the guy who scores for our team because he's
1 of 10.
What?
What, he got 1 of 10 last night?
He wasn't great, and like we can't rely on we can't rely on geriatric Kirk Heinrich to be taking clutch shots, despite the fact that he had a great game last night.
You guys need a scorer so bad. So bad you need a scorer.
I'm putting all my eggs in the basket for us landing Carmelo. If we don't land Carmelo, I mean it's gonna be great when Derek comes back. Even if he's like 20%, he's gonna be better than the guy he put up. But
I don't think you're gonna get Carmelo. I'm serious. I mean, at this point, I don't care if he stays or leaves.
Then we better.
Because the Knicks are playing for 2015. Next year, I don't know if I'm even gonna watch the next game because it's just gonna be a joke.
Yeah. We just if we can't get Melo, we gotta throw everything we got at trading up for Jabari Parker. Just somebody that can score on their own, that doesn't need, our center passing to him so he gets an open shot. Like,
But here's the thing: like Joakim Noah is an unbelievable and I mean unbelievable guy, unbelievable team player. But he's never been a scorer.
No, he's getting you 10 and 10 a night with maybe 5 assists, which is great.
I mean, buddy.
Unless he's playing Nene, he's going to lock the guy he's playing against because apparently Nene is unguardable. But
Nene played Nene, who is a absolute dead like lead player of I like to play when I want to play.
If he's invested in the game, he's almost unstoppable.
That man could care less that I don't think he even knows if he's playing basketball sometimes.
He certainly knew for the past 5 games or 4 games.
Oh, well, he gets into a playoff series. It was unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
The whole season, it's been like, what a letdown that the Wizards doled out all that money for Nene.
I'll tell you, every time that TNT cut to a commercial with a slow motion view of Nene smiling with the camera, I die inside.
But honestly, it's actually funny, and I don't know how much you follow soccer, Mike, but Jim will agree with me. Typical Brazilian, like any athlete, just like I'll turn it on when I need to. Like I'm really talented.
Yeah,
But when it's opportune, I'll just turn it on real quick.
what was it like the 08 or something World Cup where they got into the semis against France, or the finals against France, and like they were sleepwalking for the first bit of it, and then oh shit, there's 2 goals. It's a tie game. What, guys?
But that's what it is. Like I feel like every Brazilian athlete, it's just like, well, I'm really athletic, but when I need to use it, that's when it's important.
Yeah.
Because Nene has literally done shit this whole season.
Oh, he's been what, like a 10 and
10 and 8 maybe.
I wouldn't give him 8 rebounds. He certainly hasn't been active on the boards all season. So.
Not with Gortat there.
It's definitely a rough go for you, Mike, on that team on Chicago.
God.
You know?
Honestly, I'm glad it's over. I'm done being upset about that team. Just bring on next season.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up one more thing before we cut, and that's Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is going to be a fucking stud.
I hope
I
so.
don't think he had the best regular season.
I looked it up. He averaged like almost 14 points and like 6 rebounds, shooting like 55% from the floor. He played his role. But once like.
But he's going to need to be a superstar later in his life because he's probably going to be a lifer on
The Spurs. Oh yeah.
on the Spurs.
That's what I'm saying. Once the old guard finally moves on and he starts getting more touches, like he's going to be unreal. Like I saw him tonight, like take the ball off the dribble, spot up shot, runners in the lane. Like, he's going to be. He's going to be what Paul George was supposed to be this season consistently.
Paul George is just having the roughest go. He should be everyone's rough go.
The wheels have really fallen off of Paul George.
He sucked in the playoffs. He had his house robbed.
Oh, it's great. It's all
That
coming.
was going to be my rough go was Roy Hibbert, but Paul George's up there too. Dude, Roy Hibbert played, what was it, 22 minutes, no points, no rebounds, 4 personal fouls.
Oh,
Yet he's still probably one of the top 20 best players in the league.
He's not.
not with that.
He is. He really is.
No
when
top player.
When he's playing his best, he's the only true center really left.
Jordan, when he's playing its best, it's in November.
No top 20 player in the NBA will play 22 minutes and ever do that.
You're trying to tell me he's not a top 20 player?
Absolutely am I saying that.
Not right now.
I heartily disagree. Because I think any team would die to have Roy Hibbert.
I would give him a top 20 center in the league right now with the way he's playing.
Top 20 center? What are you fucking off your mind?
With the way he's playing right now? Did you just hear the stat line I just gave you?
Jim, it doesn't even fucking matter. People would take him over Dwight Howard in a minute.
He's
Dwight's an asshole.
He's sitting right below Kelly Olynyk right now for centers in the league.
Or what's his name?
Come on, man.
On the Thunder.
Don't throw Kelly Olynyk in there real quick.
Let's get a nice Kelly Olynyk reference in here.
Ugh.
I would take Sheed, as he is right now, over Roy Hibbert.
You guys are fucking idiots. I don't even like any of you. I don't even like Roy Hibbert that much. But like, he's still 7 foot and still dominated in the beginning of the year.
Jordan, he's 7'2" and got
He's
0
7'2".
rebounds.
I'm sorry. I under.
Zero. This many rebounds yesterday. He got this many.
He's having a rough go.
Jordan, if you were 7'2", you just happen into rebounds. Like if you're standing there, you just get a few just because you're that. You put your arms up and it just happens. I don't know what he's doing, but generally when you're that tall, as far as I can tell, you just do this and it happens. Like look at Omer Asik. He's not that great. He gets like 8 rebounds a game. He's 7'2".
And he's playing behind Dwight. He's
playing behind Dwight, and he gets like 8 rebounds a game. Like he just does this and it happens. That's all Hibbert has to do. He lacks the
Can I see what Asik does one more time? Can you show me an example?
One of these?
It was funnier when he did it the first time.
They had some stat on Hibbert in the last 40 games of the year, including the playoffs. His rebounding percentage, if it was out of reach, like he had to actually move to get it and not just extend his hand, his rebound percentage was 5%. It was horrifying.
That's funny.
I don't care. Roy Hibbert for president.
The better center.
I'm just looking forward to Larry Bird just gutting the team.
I mean, how much are they going to get? I mean, they got to get rid of George Hill, but they're going to keep everybody else.
I don't know if they're keeping everybody else.
Who are they going to get rid of besides George Hill?
Roy.
You don't think?
They're not getting rid of Roy Hibbert, Jim.
Jordan, you don't think a lottery team would pay them a pot of gold for Roy Hibbert right now?
Oh my God.
Oh, absolutely, because he's a top 20 player in the goddamn league.
Top 20 center.
Allegedly. I can't wait to see him play for the Bucks next year with O.J. Mayo jacking up 30 shots.
Oh, I know. It's going to be great.
They're not going to get rid of fucking Roy Hibbert.
I would rather have Greg Oden as my center right now.
Oh, dear, Jim.
But you're a dyke, so.
Oh, my goodness, Jim.
Bold
The
statement.
Kelly Olynyk one is the one that sent me off the most.
Hey, I'm wearing green. I got a reference.
Do you know there's a good chance that the Knicks will end up with Pau Gasol and Swaggy P next year?
Oh, if they get Nick Young, it'll be so. I'm not watching the Knicks.
I'd buy a Nick Young Swaggy P Nick jersey.
I would buy a Nick Young Knicks jersey.
How are you gonna try to tell me that Swaggy P isn't the best player in the league?
All right, we're ending.
Go ahead.
We're done.
Swaggy P!
I'd say go watch the playoff games, but I'm gonna go watch The Wire. So, you know.
I split
right.
my soul through the wire.
Jim, were you aware that Swaggy P is Kendrick Lamar?
Give me a walk to the garden.
Who are you? No, Mike, run it back. What are you aware of with Swaggy P?
Harder.
Swaggy P!